Welcome to Creator Spotlight, the interview portion of the Spotlight here on Fightful. I am Steven Jensen, joined as always by Jeremy Lambert, and our guest today is the daughter of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and the sister of my favorite wrestler of all time, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Our guest today is Teil Rhodes. How are you doing today, Teil? Thanks for joining us.
Sure, thanks for having me. I'm great. How are you guys?
We are doing fantastic.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes. Now, this week is a big week. Well, we just had SummerSlam, and it was a very big victory for Cody this weekend.
Huge.
Yes. How are you feeling coming off of this? Now that he has not only defeated Brock Lesnar in their trilogy, but also now Brock has officially acknowledged him and given him the endorsement as well.
Yes. I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I wasn't feeling great about it when he was just getting just tossed for back and forth in that match. There was a couple times I was like, I don't know if it's going to go our way, but he came back and I thought it was a great match.
Yes, I agree. And your mom was there, Michelle. She was a part of that, big part of that story. What was that like, seeing her as a part of it, and also you being a part of it as well, as in the crowd during the story too?
It's funny because she is the least want to be on camera person that you could ever meet in your whole life. Fame, all of it. She is just so naturally not like that. It's funny that she is always right there in the spotlight, but I think she really liked it. She really wanted him to win, and Brandy's dad Otis was sitting with her as well in Brandy's hometown, so I thought that was a really cool moment for them to share too.
Yeah.
You tweeted afterwards like you always liked Brock Lesnar. Is that true? Brock Lesnar, good guy now. He's fine with everything.
Always liked him. I liked the cowboy hat. Always thought that was a good look for him. I like the braid. I mean, I've been a fan. So yeah, just gonna totally pretend like all my other tweets.
Yeah, it's funny because most people who watch this show know that I was on the same high school wrestling team as Cody back in the day for a couple years, and it's really bizarre seeing this and really cool seeing this for me, because I remember Brock being on the show on WWE because I was in high school from 2002 to 2006. I think Cody had to have been there from like 2000, 2004. So like Brock was new in the WWE. So right. I remember us all like talking about him and like the wrestling annex, like he's on TV wrestling Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's wrestling Kurt Angle and stuff. And like now Cody's wrestling that guy 20 years later, biggest story in the company. Like it's just wild how, I mean, 20 years that guy has had that kind of longevity. And now Cody's like on that level, like of a Brock Lesnar in the company, which is wild.
I know it's just been such a journey for Cody, and there's just been so much like just fighting for it, so much hard work for that spot that he's in, and then for Brock still to be at that level. I mean, people talk about part-time wrestlers, but Brock is still, a serious dude. So it's crazy to think, how much time's gone by and where Cody's at now.
And, also I want to piggyback off you mentioning, being a fan and everything. I saw you tweet that you also are a big fan of Logan Paul. And I, too, am a massive fan of what I'm seeing out of Logan Paul on the WWE television. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. Whenever a celebrity comes in or there's a new wrestling, property, I always have casting opinions. I always have a lot of opinions about that because I think it's been harder for wrestling performers and fans to be part of the mainstream conversation and entertainment. So I feel like I always I'm looking at that celeb, like, can they do it? But I think he's been great. I've been really impressed by him. I never met him in the ring. And, he's a great bad guy. He just has that bad dude energy.
Last one on SummerSlam, the moment that Cody did share with Brock. Triple H said it was unplanned. Cody said, like, I thought he was going to hit me. What's going through your mind as they shake hands and you see this?
Yeah, I'm a product of an old school wrestling mentality. So I never trust that is a hand raised or a handshake. So I didn't know what was going to happen, and I thought it was really cool. I mean, how, you know, not a lot of people get that kind of respect from someone like a Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that was an awesome moment, and a real. I mean, there can't really be a bigger endorsement of like, okay, Cody still in line. Like, he's got to be the guy. Like, the story needs to be finished. Like, I am along for this ride. I was very much hoping that was going to happen at WrestleMania this year. A lot of us were, but we're still with him. Like, we know it's going to happen, and that is a big vote of confidence seeing what happened at SummerSlam.
It was a quiet, sad van ride back from SoFi to the hotel where we were all staying, and it was all of us in the box in one van together, and it was bleak. So I think Cody said, you know, there are many pages in a story because, you know, finish the stories become such a thing. But, you know, we're still on that story, and we do want it finished. We want it finished, you know, as a family, as his sister. I think it would be great.
Well, you know, obviously the documentary that just dropped, Becoming Cody Rhodes, a big. I mean, pretty much the focal point of the story is this and in this journey of Cody to finish the story. And what's been the reception you've gotten from the documentary? Because they're saying that it's like the most watched documentary WWE's produced all year, and you were a big part of that. And like, how's it feel to be a part of that, the whole process, and like the reception so far out of it?
The reception's been amazing, and even a lot of fans that had kind of left and come back, who came back from Cody or maybe followed him, got people to watch it. And, you know, it was a long time in the making. So I'm just proud that it's been received so well and that so many people are watching it, and some non-wrestling fans, which for us, that's always a big thing, is get more fans, get more people to watch, you know, pro wrestling, sports entertainment. But it was a great experience doing it. That was a great team. The interviews were pretty easy, and I thought that it great. And I got my credit for, you know, the things that I named, and I got my good line in there. So that's what I wanted.
Was there anything in the documentary that you had wished they covered a little bit more, from whether it was Cody growing up or from his career?
No, I think if anything, we're pretty much an open book, you know, just because of the years in the business. Some of the stuff I will say, you know, the footage of his service is really hard to watch. And, you know, I knew it was in there, but I think we shared just enough because you want to keep some things for yourself. But I think that the coolest thing that I hadn't seen was some of that wrestling footage, the amateur wrestling footage that you talked about in it. They got that from the state. That's not something that we had as a family. So I thought that was really cool to see.
You don't have like footage of Cody wrestling in high school?
Not what they showed in the doc. They got that from somewhere else.
I might be able to help you out. I still have some VHSs, I think, from then. I might be able to help you out with a little bit. That definitely should have some of his matches on there still. I kept like all that stuff.
I think that we have probably some like that old like little one that you put in the, I mean, Dusty had some crazy equipment. I'm sure we've got it somewhere, but that's nothing I had ever seen before. So it was cool to see it for the first time.
Very cool. And that was also the first time, like when he won the state championship, was the first time he was billed as Cody Rhodes on television, which I know is also kind of like a point of contention a little bit too. Like when the whole like losing the last name thing was going on, it was like, well, technically, like I was on television as Cody Rhodes before all of this.
Yeah. I mean, we had some real gripes that people, you know, after he passed, people really felt like we were in our feelings about a lot of stuff, but there was some stuff that was pretty valid, and the Rhodes thing was obviously, you know, that was a huge one.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing that I appreciate about you is you are very ride or die for your brother, and I didn't have brothers and sisters growing up, but I really appreciate that you, and I know people might take it the wrong way when you respond on socials or anything, but like everyone should have a sister like this, honestly.
My big thing is just, you cannot like a performer in my family. As a fan, that's totally your prerogative. But when you are saying things that are not true and you're rewriting that history, and that's something that really happened with Dusty, that Cody and I, you know, it's social media age. You can get on there and you could be like, actually, that is not the truth. Like, people are, before the doc came out, they were saying, oh, well, it's not going to cover this, it's not going to cover that. They hadn't even seen it. So I feel like I will sometimes get into that murkiness, but for the most part, it's so much love from fans. But I will set the record straight on some family business.
And that's one thing that I've enjoyed as a fan of Cody. I've enjoyed seeing all the outpouring love since he's coming back to WWE. Like, it seems like there's always going to be, you know, that certain sector who's just not going to like anything. But for the most part, it's all like, oh, Cody's fantastic. We're so happy that he's here. We're so happy that he's back. Like, to you, when he returned and everything, what was that moment like for you watching his return, kind of knowing like this is where he wanted to be?
I really couldn't believe it. It was, I'm not going to do the cinema thing, but it was like, I couldn't believe it. And there was just all these things that clicked into place, you know, it being in Texas, it being, you know, where he was Stardust when he left. I mean, that last Mania that he was on, I mean, it was just this kind of, you know, destiny thing happening. But I thought it was great. And I think it was great to see, you know, how much he'd grown and that he was just presented, you know, with all of the tools that he had kind of, you know, like you see in the doc, that he had picked up along the way.
Yeah. Some of the stuff also kind of going back to, you know, I know you mentioned you wish there was a bit more of like his amateur wrestling and some of the stuff you hadn't seen before. But someone I was really happy to see in the documentary was Coach Steve Day. He's a guy who's like a real unsung hero. And like for a lot of us, like, you know, he taught me a lot. And he was a guy, he was a guy I was honestly terrified of for the 4 years I wrestled for him. Yeah, very, very sure. I mean,
Coach Day looks the same. I don't know what kind of program he's on, but I'm definitely interested in whatever that is, because when I saw him at the premiere, I hadn't seen him, you know, in maybe like 5 years or something, and I was like, looks the same. He looks great. Yeah,
he does.
You know, he did a lot to build up wrestling programs in the state of Georgia, so he definitely deserves those props for sure.
Yeah, it was awesome to see him as a part of that documentary, and something that, you know, I brought up to you when around the time I believe it was the A&E documentary came out for Dusty, and you were asking for like memories of Dusty, and something that I think people should know about him that I don't know if I talked about on the show or not before, but like I just think it's so cool because I know they really try to highlight, and Dusty, or Cody rather, always tries to highlight like how their Dusty was for him, like, you know, and for y'all. And it was one of the coolest things ever that like Dusty would come to our matches and not only just like be there as a fan, he would be like grilling hot dogs with the parents. He'd be like pulling stubs that can add like the tickets and stuff. Like he would just wanted to be like every other parent, and everyone knew who Dusty Rhodes was. It wasn't like he was like low key, like no one like it. So it was just really cool how just like humble and like he was like a good dude. So I think people should just know like he was just like every other parent when he was around. It was really cool.
He had this thing with the Mannings in football, Archie Manning, how Archie like never, like you didn't see Archie when the Mannings were playing. He was up there somewhere in the stands, and he was always talking about Archie Manning. I was like, what are you talking about? But that's what it was. He really just wanted to be supporting Cody and, you know, watching the matches. And when he first started wrestling, he didn't even know the scoring of amateur wrestling. Like he didn't really, and he learned, you know, got really into it, you know, as a parent, which was cool.
Cody, he's done a couple interviews with Fightful recently, and in one of the interviews, he was talking. He said, "Your parents had baby books, and your baby book is about 5 books." Oh, have you heard this story before?
I'm not going to do the Cody lies, Cody liars. I'm not either way if that is true or not, but he would count the pictures of us, like the portraiture that was hanging, and if there was more of Kristen or Dustin, he liked it to be the same. He liked it to be his baby book is just as big as mine. I think the quality of my photos are better, but I think they're the same size. I'm going to go on record and saying that is maybe a slight exaggeration. Yeah.
Okay, that actually is.
That's tracks, yeah.
I like you brought that up because one of my questions actually was about CODY LIES, because I wanted to know if you had any other just good kind of examples of him stretching the truth that come to mind, and then I had another question to piggyback that if you after you have some of those. It sounds like
we were at an acting school together in LA. I don't know how it got brought up in conversation, but he told this story. Basically, he still had like a gap in his teeth that my parents didn't get him braces because I needed a pageant dress, and that I would only get my dresses made from this like famous robe maker, dressmaker, and he had like a whole backstory for it and everything. And I'm pretty sure he just didn't want braces. I did have some expensive dresses, so there is truth in that. But yeah, I just think he didn't want to get the braces.
Yeah, that's funny. The other question I had for you, kind of based around that, is do you have any like good like nicknames that Cody's come up for people that he has said to you? Because like I just remember in high school, like he always like there was like nicknames for like everything that like those guys would have, and it was always so funny to me. I'll never forget there was a referee who kind of danced around funny like when he'd be refereeing, so we called him Travolta. Like I just remember little things like that, and I've heard Cody likes to give nicknames. If you have any good ones.
He does like to give nicknames, but the problem with that is then when you have to meet people in real life and like it'll be, and my dad did that too. He was a big, like the guy who helped us move was Red River Pete. His name wasn't even Pete. I don't know how that, but I thought it was Pete. There was, yeah, I mean, they both were big on nicknames. I will meet people and I'll be like, oh, you know, Joe, whatever. And he's like, oh, my name's Charles. And I'm like, well, I didn't know. And that's how he is like in the phones, in the group chats. You'll be like, you know, who is, you know, Leary Bill or whatever. It's like, you don't know. It's exciting to meet people in person and see how different their names are from the names that are stored in Cody's phone.
That's so funny to me.
I am so fascinated by Cody because I listen to a lot of Cody interviews, and he does a lot of interviews, but he is such a great storyteller, and he always adds these little like anecdotes to the new stuff. The infamous the fuck on me story that he does, that referee tried to
That's classic, but that is real. I'm pretty sure that is no lies in that one. No lies.
I 100% believe it's real, but like I've heard that story a bunch of times, and then recently, just a few months ago, he's retelling it, and he adds this bit that I'd never heard before. Is like, I was snorting protein powder before this match, and I'm like, where's that from? This has not been told before.
Oh, okay. There's some new info. Well, you know, memory. Sometimes you get older and you remember that you were doing something weird like that. But yeah, he is a great storyteller for sure.
One of my favorite people to cover because all of his interviews are just fascinating to me with the stories that he will tell. I can just imagine what being around him all the time would be. And I mean, you've shared some great insight on the Cody lies of it's like, are you kidding here or not? I imagine sometimes it can be tough to decipher.
Yep, sometimes it is. It's that, are you being for real? But yeah. He definitely, he's tricky. He's a tricky one.
One thing I wanted to ask about was Rhodes to the Top. I love this reality show because we got more Cody, and Brandy is one of my favorite like performers. I love her as a performer. Never met her, but fantastic performer. And you were part of that show as well. What was that experience like?
Well, I think we can say that I was the clear star of
yes,
Rhodes to the Top. Shooting a reality show during COVID protocols was pretty wild for sure. And when we shot the pilot, I mean, it was full on doing the quarantining, all the tests all the time. It was a lot. I will say, you know, I don't think reality TV stars get paid enough because those are long shoots. It's long hours. Roast to the Top was a lot of fun. I wish that there's a lot of stuff we shot, family stuff, that ended up on the cutting room floor. There's a hilarious scene where Cody and Dustin and me and my mom are, Dustin's wife, we're trying to cook dinner to take to Brandy, and it went so off the rails. We shot this thing for like 2 hours that the producer after was like, yeah, we can't use any of this. But I feel like people would have liked it because Dustin's really funny, and my mom just keeps leaving during, she's all mic'd up and everything to go outside to smoke. She just keeps leaving, and all these people are like, does she not, you know, Mom, we're filming. No, she doesn't care. She did quit smoking. I just want to say that so I don't get in trouble. But Rhodes to the Top was fun, but it was definitely work.
Did Rhodes to the Top and just kind of with the camera being in front of you and then having to do the sort of sit down interviews, did that make the documentary stuff easier?
Not for me, because I was kind of burnt out from doing those interviews, and some of the subject matter, especially for my dad's A&E doc, which also came out, you know, this year. We worked really hard on that. It was just, that subject matter was so heavy, and Rhodes to the Top was definitely, they wanted that like soapy, you know, reality TV stuff. So it was different.
Speaking of Dustin a little bit, like what's Dustin's secret? Like the fact that he is still he's performing at like the highest level of his career still, it feels like.
Dustin's just, you know, obviously I'm biased, but is one of the best, you know, in-ring performers, you know, really in wrestling of all time. And his nickname from Cody is Benjamin Button. He's the Benjamin Button because he's like aging in reverse. And they call him Chicken also, which I think that might be because he has skinny legs. I don't know, but I always call Dustin Goldie, you know, and I did forever. So Dustin's got a lot of nicknames too. But I don't know what his secret is. Maybe I think it's just probably clean living, and Dustin works out like a ton.
I know. Oh, sorry, Jamie. Do you have a question?
Oh, I have to ask about your thoughts on Cody's neck tattoo and when he got that. What you thought of this thing?
I found the tattoo artist. I booked the appointment. I thought it was going on his chest. Thought he had the one for our dad. I thought, he's a grown man. He can get a tattoo. That's fine. And then when we all saw it, yeah, we were just, I mean, it was so big, you know, when we first saw it, that we were like, yeah, so I didn't even want to say that because, you know, the feedback early on about the tattoo, now it's such a big part.
Yeah, you know, now it's iconic, honestly.
It is iconic. And, you know, one thing about Cody, we disagree, but he usually ends up being right in the end. But I didn't tell anybody. My mom asked, like, no, I can't believe that he did that. I had no idea. Yeah.
I think Cody even said, like, I thought it was going to be smaller. Like, they put it on and it was like, I thought it was just going to be small. And then it gets done. And it's like, oh, this is gigantic.
Yeah, that was a day. That was a lot of, my aunts, you know, the Cuban, the Tias in Tampa, that was a real lively, phone tree. Like when there's an emergency, it activates the phone tree usually. That classified under emergency text chain. Yeah.
This is again the brilliance of Cody, in that like we all see this thing. It's like, oh, what is that thing on his neck? And now, as we just mentioned, like now it's the giant CGI during his entrance, and like the logo is everywhere. It's like he has turned this into the biggest positive I have ever seen. And I don't know how many people can do that.
Yeah, sorry. They have it on their hats and their backpacks.
Yeah.
You know?
Jensen's got all the
got
Cody
the hat,
merch.
they got a Nightmare Family shades and everything here. So I'm wearing a Cody Rhodes. You got to do the work. See you got to do the work. To me, is the new MTXE. Like that's how I always, that MTXE was our high school wrestling slogan. So and also it feels like it's very much the new never give up. Like Cody very much feels like he is the new for the kids. Like no one else is staying around that I've ever seen like this for half hours after the show. Everything shutting down, taking pictures with people, signing autographs for people. So it's just really cool. So yes, I love that. I love that logo. Absolutely.
Cody would stay out there all night. He would, as long as, somebody was out there waiting for him, he would stay out there all night. And, I know that he's tired and being on the road and stuff, but that's something I know for certain that he genuinely enjoys.
Something else we wanted to talk to you about tonight, for sure, was the Dusty Rhodes Foundation as well. Can you please tell us all about that and like everything people can do to like get involved?
Yes. So we started the Dusty Rhodes Foundation. We've been going a little over a year now. You can find us at DustyRhodesFoundation.org, and you can find us at the Dusty Rhodes Foundation on Instagram. We would love people to get involved. What we're doing is we're not keeping any fees. Your donation is totally tax deductible. All of the people that have signed for us, that have done these cons and stuff, have done it on their own dollar. So, they've donated that to us. Some of our partners like WrestleCon, this last one that Brandy did, they donated the booth for us. So we're just trying to fill those gaps in communities where, sports, like everything's so expensive now, but sports, people are just getting priced out of sports. And we really think it's a shame. And my dad was so big on youth sports being a way for kids, not only to stay out of trouble, but to learn some life skills. And we've given to a wrestling program, we'll do baseball. We'll sponsor kids just to play like rec basketball leagues. Obviously, Brandy just did an awesome organization in Detroit called Dream Skate Academy, where they teach, these inner city kids not only how to ice skate, but they, give them the time on the ice. And that's really expensive for people. So we've definitely diversified, but any money that we're getting, besides the fees that our PayPal or, Pro Wrestling Tees takes, which isn't a lot, they also give us an awesome break on our merch, goes right to already vetted, awesome youth sports organizations all over the country.
Guys, the link to check out the Dusty Rhodes Foundation is in the link below, or in the description below, so everyone can click that link there and go donate, learn more about it as well. They got a website set up, so go support the foundation and the youth sports. Teil, our last one that we ask everybody, the favorite thing you have, or the coolest or favorite thing you have in your room.
In my room?
Yeah,
it could be in the room you're
house,
in.
But if you can get it for us, even better. But if it's like a hassle, you can just tell us about it.
Okay, I have two good things in this room.
Okay.
Cody obviously tells the story about the Rolex that my dad sold. I have the other piece, which is my mom's Rolex, which he bought her. And when I think he won the world title, I'm not sure which time, he put the diamonds on the bezel. So this is the one half of the famous Rhodes Rolex that we now know, was sold. And then this little guy I have here, this little Dusty gnome, is something that Dustin and his lovely wife Terrell gave all of us. And for different holidays, we put like a Santa hat on it, and it's just kind of like a cool little thing to have. The kids like to, put different stuff on it. And it's just a nice reminder, that it's, polka dot gnome, not to take everything so serious.
That's awesome. That gnome is sweet.
Yes. I love it.
Teil, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Let everyone know where they can find you at, where they can support you at, and again, plug the Dusty Rhodes Foundation again.
Yes, thank you guys so much, both of you, for having me and letting me chat. I'm at Twitter at Teil Margaret, and you can find the Dusty Rhodes Foundation on Instagram and online at thedustyrhodesfoundation.org. And you can find the Dusty Rhodes merch on Pro Wrestling Tees. And we're going to have some new merch coming out soon.
There you go. And again,
letting me talk about the foundation and some other fun Rhodes nicknames.
Yes, for sure. Make sure to check out the documentary on Peacock as well, the Becoming Cody Rhodes American Nightmare documentary. So thank you so much for joining us. We're really looking forward to this. People will not see the intro that I messed up. We're going to edit it out, but I'm going to tell everybody right now.
You could feel the excitement in that intro, and me and Jeremy know, and it'll just be for the three of us.
Yes. Yes.
I'll release it as a blooper one day. When we do the documentary on this show, we'll release that footage.
That's
Teil, thank you so much for joining us again, guys. The links are below in the description to go and support Teil and go and support the Dusty Rhodes Foundation. Thank you again, Teil. We really appreciate it. Go watch American Nightmare Becoming Cody Rhodes on Peacock if you have not seen that yet. Oh, go ahead.
Or no, I was gonna say, or watch it again. Maybe you already watched
it.
Watch it again.
Yes.
The numbers, Cody wants somebody to leak the numbers. Maybe somebody will leak the numbers of how well the documentary is actually doing.
Leak his merch numbers, because I keep seeing really wrong merch stuff, and I am petty like that. Where I'm
hey, I'm with you, Teil. There's absolutely no way that LA Knight is outselling Cody Rhodes. I'm going to put it out there right now for everybody.
But in just wrestling journalism, there's some stories that I see every day. I like LA Knight. I think he's awesome, but I see some crazy stuff that is just made up. But I kind of do want to leak the merch numbers because they're insane.
It's all just leak the merch numbers from Jensen. He's got every piece of merch there.
Yeah.
Is on your body right now. I mean, so the proof is in the pudding. It's Steven's wearing it.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you again, Teil. We really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching the interview, and we'll be right back here on